Welcome students to today's lesson. Our topic for today is winding up of a company, meaning and introduction. So let's see the introduction to the concept first. What is winding up of a company? It is basically a process of bringing an end to the existence of the artificial person that is our company. So, company is an artificial person, which means it cannot by its own come to an end. So, in order to put an end to the operations of the company, we need to have legal mechanisms to do that. So, the mechanism for the process of winding up is the basically what we do is we administer the liabilities and the assets of the company in case of winding up, and this is done by a liquidator. So, the person who is appointed for administering the assets and liabilities is the liquidator. So, in case of compulsory winding up of the company, the liquidator is appointed by tribunal under section 275 of Companies Act 2013, and in case of voluntary winding up, the liquidator is appointed by the company itself under the section 310 of the Companies Act. So, winding up is also referred to as liquidation. So, liquidation when happens, the company's name is deleted from all the list of the names that the registrar of companies has. So, the same after it has been done with the registrar of companies, it is again published in the official gazette too. Now, let's see the meaning of winding up of the company. So, the term winding up of the company may be defined as the proceedings by which a company is dissolved. So, winding up is basically existing company affairs is brought to an end. So, it is a situation where the company came into existence and now they don't want to continue their business. So, hence they will stop, or they will dissolve, or they will wind up, or they will liquidate. So, that is winding up of the company. That means the proceedings which a company is doing, the operations, everything will come to an end. So, now there are modes of winding up which is under section 270. First is compulsory winding up by the tribunal, and second mode of winding up is voluntary winding up. So, voluntary winding up further has two parts. It can be wound up by members, or it can be wound up by the creditors. So, let's see compulsory winding up by the tribunal. So, what is that? Compulsory winding up, as the name says, the company may be wound up by an order of the tribunal. Now, where the tribunal gives an order to the company that it must cease its operation, it must not continue any further. So, that order given by the tribunal is compulsory winding up of the company. So, the tribunal will make this order only on an application given by persons which is listed in section 272 of the act. So, these person can be the creditors. If the creditors will file the petition to wind up the company, they can consider the application, or it can be contributories petition can be there. So, the contributors are basically who contributes to the assets of the company in any way. So, these people next can be the joint petition can also be filed by the company also, and the creditors also, and contributors. All these three can jointly file the petition for winding up of the company, or either registrar can also file the petition to wind up the company. Now, there are certain grounds for compulsory winding up of the company which is under section 271. So there are these 6 grounds which we are gonna study now. Now the first one is special resolution of the company. Now if the company passes a special resolution and they have resolved that they will cease its operation, they're liquidating the company, and they're doing this by passing a special resolution in the meeting. So this is one of the ground by which company can decide to wind up. So the tribunal has the power in this case. When the company itself wants to wind up, then the tribunal may consider their application of winding up, and hence they can proceed with the order of winding up. So the tribunal may also refuse the winding up, the order of winding up by the company, if the tribunal finds that it is not in interest of company or the public. So in that case, tribunal may refuse the winding up even when the company has passed a special resolution. So next case can be the inability to pay debts. Now the company can also decide or to resolve, they can also resolve to wind up in case they are not able to pay debts. Okay, so their inability to pay debts can also be the reason of their winding up. So the tribunal in that case may order the winding up of a company if they are unable to pay the debts. So the basis of an order for winding up under this clause is that company has ceased to be commercially solvent. That means it is unable to meet its current demands. That means the assets of the company are less and the liabilities are more. So when the liabilities exceeds the assets, in that case the company is not able to pay the debts. So hence it is good for the company to cease its operation and not continue any further. So next point is just and equitable. So another ground on which the tribunal can order the winding up of the company is when the tribunal is of the opinion that it is good or it is just and equitable for the company to wind up its operations. So this clause is given by the tribunal. They have a wide power where they can find just and equitable for the company to do the winding up, right? So when the tribunal find that it is good for the company to wind up, they can or they may order the winding up for the company, right? So there are certain cases or certain clauses, you can say, where it is just and equitable for the company to be wound up. So the first one is loss of substantum. So what is that? Basically where the company's main object is gone, or you can say the subject matter of the company is gone, where the company for which it was incorporated, the company that subject for which it was incorporated is now not there. So there is no point of continuing its operations if the subject matter only is not there or gone, right? So next case can be the deadlock in management. Now where there is deadlock in the management, the company may feel or the tribunal may order to wind up the company. Now what can be the deadlock in management? Let's see it with an example. Like for example, there was a person A and a person B who traded separately as cigarette manufacturers. They agreed to amalgamate their business. Okay, so there was a one trader A and there was another trader B. So they decided to amalgamate their business, and they formed a private limited company. okay, and they had equal voting rights. Now one day certainly a dispute arose. What happened? Then the dispute was resolved by the arbitrator. So arbitrator decided to favor one of the persons. So the other person tend to not accept whatever was decided by the arbitrator. So in that case they didn't accept the person who's in the person whose favor case was not going, so that person didn't accept the award. So they both became so hostile that they would not talk to each other. Okay, so in that case what happened, they just only talked through a secretary. So this situation, this similar situation can be a deadlock. Okay, so deadlock where the two partners or two owners of a certain business are not even talking to each other, and they're talking to some middleman in order to communicate because of some dispute. So this is a deadlock in management. That means, so now you maybe don't want to continue the business. There's no point of continuing the business. And hence in this case the company may cease to exist, and this order can be given by the tribunal as there is a deadlock in management. Next is oppression of minority. Now, the case where the majority of shareholders have adopted an aggressive or oppressive policy towards the minority. Okay, so this can be the sufficient ground for winding up of the company under this clause. Next one is fraudulent purpose. Now, where the company was conceived and brought in fraud. Okay, so the company existed because of some illegal purposes. In that case also it is just an equitable for the company to wind up. Next reason can be the insolvent company. Now where the company is insolvent and they are not able to take up pay their debts any further. So it is benefit, it is for the benefit of the company to be wound up. Now let's see the fourth point, for that is the fourth ground for which the company has to be wound up. That can be the non filing of financial statements or annual returns with the registrar. Now if the company has made a default, or the company is not able to file the balance sheet or the profit and loss account or any annual returns that they are supposed to file, and this has been there for 5 consecutive financial years, in that case it is good and it is just and equitable for the company to wind up. Then the next point is, if company acts against sovereignty and integrity of India. Now if the company has acted against the interests of sovereignty or integrity of India, or you can say the security of the state, or they have friendly relations with foreign states, uh, public order is there, decency or morality, because of all of these reasons, if they are acting against the sovereignty and integrity of India, the tribunal shall make an order for the winding up of the company. But for that, the application has to be made by either central government or state government, right? So last ground for which the company can be wound up is the sick company. Now if the company is sick, that means the company is not likely to become viable in future, then it is just an equitable for the company that it should be wound up. So thank you very much students for watching. We'll see you in